There we go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Fresh Mondays podcast. I know it's been a little while since you've heard from us, and honestly, I'm looking to see what the number of the episode is because I forgot. But it's your girl Diana and it's your girl Marley.
How are you guys doing? Yeah, it's been I have to kind of catch my rhythm right now talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a couple of weeks, and shit's happening, guys. Like it's just at a personal scale, personal level. Things have occurred, especially for me, which is like the hiatus was necessary. Just couldn't keep up with what personal life had going on and pandemic had going on and work had going on. Like all these layers of things start occurring. And in the recent weeks, I feel like I live in like a third dimension. Like this is not my life, or like I walked into the wrong door and all these things just fell on me. Ever had one of those moments?
Wow. Okay.
Does
I
that
didn't
make sense?
realize all of that happened. That's interesting.
I felt like I just walked into a door and it was like, no, you walked into the third dimension and there's a whole different life, a whole different situation happen that you have never been, I guess nothing has hit you so hard in your life before.
Okay.
Nothing has impacted your life before. I know pandemic is a hard hit,
Okay.
right? But I think that's almost manageable in a sense because it's
Okay.
not, well, it is life-changing.
So this moment, do you find this moment was a moment of inspiration or a moment of what the fuck is going on? Like, cause I'm feeling like it's more positive. However, I'm not sure. Like, was it
No,
more
no,
of a what the fuck is going on, or
I
I'm
think because
inspired?
I have two things happening at the same time that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not able to be happy about one because the other one is tragic.
Oh,
So it doesn't allow me to feel joyous in one of my
okay.
other one
Right, right.
accomplishments because I feel bad for feeling good when someone else is suffering.
I get it.
Because
I
I'm
get it.
dealing with that person's suffering and that person's tragic and the whole tragedy that happened for my family. I'm dealing with that. And should I really be joyous and happy at the same time of what's
I get
happening?
it. I get it. But I mean, remember not to feel guilty for feeling good about something that you've been working towards for a long time.
Right.
You see what
I
I'm
have to
saying?
remind myself that.
Yes. Absolutely. Because yes, I understand you're not going to go out drinking and partying and taking shots right now. That would be disrespectful. You feel me?
Right.
Like if it's something that is impacting you and your family to that degree, then yes, there should be some type of respect. You know what I'm saying? In your behavior and understanding that this is a serious time and we have to be here for each other. But now that doesn't mean that you should feel guilty for feeling proud of yourself
Right.
for doing something that you've been working towards and feeling good for that reason. I know it's
Right.
tough, but
It's
if you look at it in two different lenses, it helps.
it's a hard space to get out of in
Mm-hmm.
moments. Right. So like, and you're right, like, you build up for something and you accomplish it, you should be able to celebrate it. But there's that guilty factor when you think about just like what someone else is going through, and you'd be like, oh, mine's is just the minimal, when it's not really the minimal.
Of course not. It never
it's
is.
it's that, but I think I'm just preparing myself for these two big life-changing moments. And I know we say pandemic is life-changing, and I think right now because of the state that we're at in that, I feel like it's normalized or it's just an everyday thing. Like it's, to me, it has less of the impact it did before as it did now because the reality of what I have in front of me is more tangible, right? Like it's more
Of course.
physically in
No, of
my
course.
hands. um so that's just it. I'm just trying to deal with, and I've never been a person who deals with tragedy and change. Well, I like change if it's not really like physically me, right? But tragedy and things that are, I'm talking about like a whole 180 on your life. Like like let's say someone did something for you every single day and all of a sudden that person's no longer around every single day to do it
No,
for
of
you.
course. Of
That's a
course.
whole different
Of
chapter
course.
in that.
I get it. And sometimes when life gets real, everything else kind of the background noise drowns out.
Right.
And I know that firsthand. So I get it. Like you don't even have space for certain friendships because it's like this is so consuming that I can't even put the energy into anything else because all my energy is being sucked out because of this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it is a very interesting experience that sometimes we all go through in life. When things
Yeah.
get really, really tough, you can't even with other people.
Right. And you ever have like those moments like, man, everything is going really good. And then God just be like, broop, broop, here's two big ass chapters to, throw you for a loop. And, I'm here for you only so much,
I get
but
it.
you got to
I get
swim
it.
out of it.
Sometimes it drives you insane because you're like, another issue, another problem, something else. Like I'm comfortable again. You feel me?
Right.
Like
I just
now
found my
this is
step.
coming up, right?
Right. Like,
And I feel like that to me kind of, I think that we're creatures that are meant to continue to evolve. So therefore, we have to always have something to help us evolve. Whether it's God that does it, whether it's the universe or energy or manifestation or speaking into whatever it is that people follow nowadays.
mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like it's something that we need and it's something that we must experience in order to mold into something else. I don't think that human beings morph into better versions of themselves until they're kind of forced to. And some people just have to get forced a little harder than others.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we've conditioned ourselves to react this way to experiences. So things have to be really impactful for us to like shift. I don't know how if that makes sense, but
No,
I
of
think
course.
part of it is us.
It's also not getting too comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Like, I had a job once where the team was fantastic. The people were great. The headquarters of it, or the HR portion of it, or the people above us were really difficult to work with. And the people we had to work with, the community we had to work with was really difficult. And it became small tit for tats that will get you fired in a heartbeat. Where I
Mm.
worked in that space for 1 year,
Sounds like
and
Florida.
it was in Florida. I'll tell you the place later.
Yeah, yeah.
But it would be where we kept a list of the call sheet, like people's phone numbers and or extensions. You would
Mm-hmm.
check off every time that person got fired off
Mm.
that sheet. And
Wow.
that's how you kept tracked, because that's how often people got let go. And
Mm-hmm.
so that taught me to not get comfortable.
Right.
I didn't get let go. I left before anything could occur for me. But I wasn't one to put up pictures. I don't put up, my diploma. I didn't get comfortable in my office. It kept very bare, minimal to work related, because what I saw is that your job can be taken from you from any moment.
Right.
So I didn't get comfortable in that. So I think in life I got a little bit comfortable that things were going so great. And then, you know, God gives you this curveball of tragedies and milestones and accomplishments, all rolled up in different aspects. And you think you're ready, but you're never not fully prepared, I guess, in it. So,
Well, you know that beauty comes from really rough situations. Like I feel like if all of this is going on, is because it's supposed to, and you're supposed to now allow that something else to come out of this. It's like the
yeah.
butterfly analogy. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a rough patch, and then something
Ooh,
beautiful comes out of it.
I can't wait for it. Let me
It
tell you that.
will. It
I know.
will, because honestly, this whole year has been so weird that it's
Yeah.
like we cannot even predict what's going to happen next month. Like it's
No,
incredible. Like
no,
we have no clue what's going to happen next month.
at all. Like there's not even guessing available.
Mhm.
Like there's no space for that. There's no room for that. The year has been weird.
It
And
has.
we've talked about the shift in things quite often on here, and there's a
Mhm.
shift. And we thought just the pandemic was, for me, I thought just the pandemic was the shift and the change of life, and there's things that happened for me the recent weeks, shows you that a lot of things are shifting. A lot of people's places in your life are changing. A lot of just what your natural everyday is changing. Community, just all those things shift. But how
Yeah.
how has the Rona changed anything of Miami out there recently?
Well, I don't even know what to say in regards to the way things are shifted in Miami or not, because I think that we have been living our lives the same exact way since the very beginning of this thing,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception now that gyms and restaurants are open. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still restricted. It's still like, honestly, I feel like I'm just used to it already. Like, it's just, this is what it is. And like, I've gotten very accustomed to it. And I honestly don't know what everybody else has been experiencing, but I feel like what I'm experiencing now differently, I guess, would be that since I'm hanging out more so with people because of different events that are going on through family or friends or whatever the case may be, and you have conversations with people, and it's so incredible how everybody is so distrusting of the media and in the information that we've been given. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like every single person you speak to, regardless of their background or who they believe in or what, what their stance is with certain point of views, like the one thing that everyone shares in common is that this shit was mad fugazi. And it's like, what happened here? Like, this whole thing is weird. Like, where did this come from? Why did it get like this? And why is it still not under control? And why are so many people involved that should not be involved? Like, it's such a weird, like, no one really trusts the information that has been given to us.
Right. Right. No, I agree with you where we're just living. I think now we found that we've always said about the new normal. We still do our daily activities and participations, and thankfully to be working, some of us, we're not part of that 40 million or something like that that's unemployed, or like the insanity number. Um, and I think I don't want to say I don't want to get comfortable with it, because I would like to not be wearing a mask at all, going to Target and whatever those things. But I do feel more relaxed now than I was before.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I think that goes for everyone across. But there are people who may be more lax than others,
Yeah.
but still just using the precaution and, being mindful with what you do and who you're with, those kind of things. But I do agree. It is true. Everyone is kind of on, I think after what is it? How many months have we been in this? Since March?
I don't know, since March, yeah.
So since a couple of months, I think everyone's thoughts are going to shift, you know, to a more questionable, more, people who thought like, who were whatever thoughts they were like super, super deep into it, are now probably coming out of that and having more questions.
Yeah, that's true. And I also think that this whole year has made people realize that we truly should question the information that's being told to us. Like, it's like
Right.
this has been the spokesperson of us now having to question our information sources. Like, it's
Correct.
like, this is the craziest experience to be involved and to be a part of a time that you cannot trust anything that's being said. You don't know what is true. So
Right.
it's like the 2020 has been the epitome of that.
Yeah. But and we're thankful that those people are opening their eyes, like family members or just friends of and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling to know that those people are just the people you sound around yourself with, have just those same thoughts, process, and waves as you, that you don't really have to ask them if they have that. You just know and
Right.
genuinely that they have the same thought process that you, and it makes you feel kind of like, okay, I'm not
Right.
crazy,
Hmm.
or I'm not that crazy, but like, people are with me. I don't have to teach
Right.
you things. I
Exactly.
don't have to drill this
Exactly.
into you. I don't have to protect you too much. You are taking care of yourself in a good way by understanding not everything is what you see.
Right.
Not everything
Well
is what
put.
you
Exactly.
read.
But I think also, it's really interesting, speaking of this whole media stuff, how now we'll quickly touch on this, how we have the new Democratic VP
Yes.
candidate.
Hmm.
And you know what the funny thing is to me? That I always thought that she should have been the person selected as a Democratic representative
Really?
ever since the debates. Yeah, because I saw the debates. I watch things like that because I find
Hmm.
things like that not only entertaining but also important to know what these people are talking about.
Right.
So I watched it and it was a complete joke, but that's another conversation. But when she was debating against Biden. Like she ate him alive. She
Yeah.
did a great job. And she's
Chewed
like,
him up.
she chewed him up. And when I saw her as being a person who's not a huge Democrat lover, I went into that with a very open mind, and I said I would choose her. You see
Hmm.
what I'm saying? If I had to choose from anybody here. So when the results ended up being that it was Biden, I was really surprised. I was like, really? So it's like now to see that they're pulling her back in, like makes me even think that they're even more shady. But that's just, I don't know if that makes sense. But
No,
that's,
I get it. And then there's also always, they always say, like, you know, parties mess up themselves. People always mess up, like your circle will always chew you up alive and mess up your own thing. Like they always say that, like, Bernie never really got a shot, right? They've always said that in 2016. It's even said now, because the own party ruined that situation,
yeah,
because of their own dynamics of how they move things. But you're absolutely right. Her delivery, and I didn't watch all the debates, but I know from seeing most of her, like any talks that she's doing when they're on Congress trial, when they're having conversations with other businesses and things like that,
yeah.
her delivery and her stance on questions are fairly strong. And I think for me, give a little bit more substance than what most people do. Right? You can tell someone researched right before they walked into a place, or research before, days before, whatever they're talking about.
Right.
I don't know. I always heard, like, I don't know too much about Kamala. I've always heard, like, the stories and the things like that, but I've never actually sat and done my own research on her.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
and I know for a fact, for me, that is something I need to work on running up on here. Like for Broward County, I did the same thing. I did all my research and voted for those that I understood and
Right.
whatever research on it. But it's gonna be, as always, I guess, just an interesting run. And
No, I think it got more interesting now because now there's actually someone to listen to on the Democratic side.
yes, there's
You see
someone
what I'm
with
saying? It's like,
substance.
okay,
There's
yeah, like,
someone with words and substance, background, a lawyer per se. Like she's a whole different tier of
and
things.
someone that's suffering from early onset dementia.
Yeah. How are you gonna manage this person?
You see what I'm saying? Like at the
Because
end of the day, this man is not 100% there.
no.
So it's not entertaining to
And we're
watch
not
him speak.
oblivious. And
It's
we're not
kind of
oblivious.
right. It's kind of painful to watch him speak. You're like, oh, what's
Oh, I'm
going
not
on?
watching nothing. I can't watch none of
I
that.
can't watch him speak. So it's like
No.
at least someone speaking from the Democratic Party that is like, okay, at least I can tolerate what you're saying. Like you're educated and you are a smart woman and you
Right.
give really good information. You feel me? So I'm gonna listen to you.
Right. Because she and her delivery and her stance on it is clear
Mm-hmm.
to me. Um, so it's almost like, yeah, she just has to, how is she gonna manage this fiasco that's running in the background that she's probably trying to have to, you know, do 10 times more of the work to
No,
really
she
just
doesn't.
be like,
That's not how that VP should work. What's gonna happen if I'm gonna call it, if he wins, I give it a couple months, he's gonna step down, she's gonna become the president.
you think, guys, mark it, whatever time frame this is, save it. That never crossed my mind until you
That's
say
what
it.
I think because I don't believe he's mentally he doesn't have the mental capacity to be a president for 4 years.
And the people
So
wouldn't really be ready for a black woman to be as a
I don't
president,
know
or
if,
woman.
to be honest with you, if a black woman would have ran against Donald Trump, she would have won, in my
You
opinion.
really?
100%.
I
The
think
one
woman
thing,
is the bigger fear before
the
everyone
one
first.
thing that it okay, I'm gonna say two things. Number one, I think when a black woman has a position of authority or is in high ranking government, I believe that they're very well versed and very, very strong. And I believe that because I've worked with black women in a professional space, black women, when they're determined for something, I've never seen such work ethic and such professionalism come out of anybody else ever
Right.
that I've ever worked with.
Mm-hmm.
More so than a black woman. Like she will
Mm-hmm.
get it done. You feel me? So it's like I truly believe that that quality is known amongst many professionals as well as many people of color as well as most of America, that black women are very strong. So it's like you would have confidence in someone like that creating leadership, especially in a time like this, especially when people want change so badly, especially when from the very beginning, we wanted to not have another older, out of touch white person
Right.
in office. Like, it was just
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not because the person is white, it's just that we wanted somebody that wasn't out of touch and
Right.
that wasn't in their 70s.
Right.
So it's like, you know, when you want that and you're crying for that as a fucking nation, and then it's finally given to you, yes, a woman would have won. I really believe a woman would have won against Trump. Truly believe it.
Wow.
So that's why this whole approach with putting Biden in office instead of her seems so